Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing Megan Fox, or Megan, as I pronounce it. Don't give out to me, guys. I'm Australian, okay? And every Australian that I've ever heard pronounce the name Megan has pronounced it Megan. It's ingrained in my head. I think we can all acknowledge that Megan Fox is generally considered as one of the hottest women in the entire universe. And for good reason. The woman is stunning. But like with a lot of famous folk, it does cost a lot of money to look this good. So for those of you, my friends that live under my rock with me, who is Megan Fox? Megan Fox, aka the hot girl in pretty much every movie due to her stunning good looks, is the 36-year-old mother of 3 sons to ex-husband Brian Austin Green. Megan Denise Fox was born on the 16th of May 1986 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee to parents Gloria Darlene and Franklin Thomas Fox. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, Megan is one celebrity who I actually don't think has undergone a massive transformation. But in saying that, that does not mean that Megan is tweakment free. Comparing older pictures of Megan to not even recent pictures, but less old pictures of Megan, it's pretty clear to anyone with eyes that Megan has actually undergone a nose job. And I know so many people are going to argue with me about this in the comments down below. And I think it's because we like to, in a way, keep the illusion that celebrities and even some influencers are actually naturally perfect. It's like it's something to strive to. It's like we don't want to break the illusion that perfection doesn't actually exist. But before we get into it, I gotta say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Kenzie. If any of you guys are like me in that you are a naturally hairy person, you might know the struggle of trying to remove the hair that you don't actually want. For me, it's my bikini line. It irks me. In the past, I have tried shaving it off. Oh my gosh, you guys, if you have ever tried shaving your bikini line, you will know firsthand how bloody uncomfortable it is. It grows back way more rampant than it was before you shaved it off. It's just not worth the hassle. Waxing is no fun. I mean, pouring hot wax on yourself and then ripping it off, no thank you. Epilation is like a slow death via tweezers. So I really wanted to find a way of removing this hair that was pain-free and that I could do myself at home. Enter the Kenzie handset. Kenzie is an at-home IPL hair removal device which harnesses the technology of intense pulsed light. And what that means is that when you use your Kenzie IPL machine and you target the handset at the hair you don't want, it'll shoot a beam of light into the hair follicles that you no longer want, effectively destroying them. So that means that with continued use, over time your hair will grow back slower, thinner, sparser, and eventually stop growing back at all. Now, you can obviously get it done in a professional salon if you want to. I did try that in the past and I did not keep it up because it was really expensive, and because I was removing hair on my bikini line, I just did not like the idea of having a stranger's face all up in my grill. It's just awkward. It was really awkward. For me, it was just a no-brainer to invest in my own IPL handset that I can do myself from the privacy and comfort of my own home when I want. What I do is I put on a podcast usually or YouTube, grab myself a cup of tea, and I'll just blitz through my IPL. I noticed that my results started at around 2 to 3 weeks, and then with proper continued use, I noticed full results within about 12 weeks to 3 months. Kenzie is also so certain that you'll love their IPL handset that you get a 12-month warranty and 90-day money-back guarantee to make sure that you love your handset or you can return it. So if you guys are like me and you would like to invest in your own IPL handset that you can do at home whenever you want to, you can click the link in the description box down below, and Kenzie has kindly offered my viewers 20% off their own Kenzie handset with the discount code STPH20. Original Megan had what's known as the Greek nose. Watch my video on nose shapes if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about and you're like, Steph, what the heck is a Greek nose? But Megan's original nose, if you zoom into slightly older pictures of Megan, you'll see that she actually had a bit of a hump on the bridge of her nose, which nowadays is considered a flaw. And hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people undergo surgery, literal nose jobs in order to remove this flaw. But as you can see here in these pictures of Megan with her original nose, with the hump on her nose, there is no flaw there to be seen. Her original nose was so gorgeous, so beautiful, totally suited her face. And now the hump is no longer there. The hump is gone. And I actually think it's really sad because there was nothing wrong with having that little hump on her nose. It kind of just added character to her face. But I can understand why. Like, it's all well and good for me to sit here looking at her and be like, Megan, you're so stunningly naturally beautiful. Like, even if you had a little hump on your nose, that's not a flaw. Your nose was perfect in my eyes, but to her, she might feel completely different. And being that she is surrounded by this weird bubble of Hollywood, where it seems like everybody is striving to achieve this level of perfection that doesn't actually exist in nature, I can see why you would kind of start picking out what you perceive to be flaws in your own appearance. And if you've got the money and you've got the resources to fix them, you'd be like, well, why shouldn't I? Her original nose also sloped slightly downwards, which is super common. I think most people's noses tend to do that. Mine certainly does, especially when I smile. I don't know if you guys can see it because I've contoured my nose today. Yes, it's an insecurity of mine, hence why I can understand why Megan might have also been insecure about her nose. Her original nose sloped slightly downwards, which is also perceived to be a flaw in our crazy culture today. Pretty much every single celebrity and influencer, they have the ski slope nose. You know, the little cute button nose? And if they don't have that naturally, they undergo surgery in order to achieve that. And Megan is no different. So now, instead of her nose having a slight hump and sloping downwards, her nose is the typical Hollywood ski slope button nose, which I gotta say, I think is kind of sad. I just think it's sad that we as a society and culture, we're kind of erasing our individual quirks and the features that make us unique and look different from each other so that we all kind of look the same. Why are we like this? Now, Megan is 36, and if my memory serves me correctly, she's turning 37 this year, which by Hollywood standards and even by our own general society standards, that is verging on old, which is crazy. The thing is, when you get to this age, your face does begin the aging process. I mean, you're aging since the moment you're born, but when you're in your 30s, I think most women will notice that their looks start to change. I know mine certainly have. I'm turning 35 in August, and I can imagine Megan's face was doing the same thing. And one thing to note is that if you are of a slim build, your face can start to look a little bit gaunt as you age, because your facial fat starts to lessen, like you get rid of your puppy fat. When you start to lose your facial fat, your cheekbones can hollow out, under your eyes can hollow out, your eyelids themselves can look droopy, hence why so many women, as they reach middle age, tend to develop hooded eyes. And this can make you look older than you actually are. Hence why, you know, those celebrities that have recently undergone buccal fat removal surgery, it looks as though they've suddenly aged themselves by like 10 or 20 years. It's because they've removed that fat. And when you get rid of fat, suddenly you don't have a whole lot holding up your face bar bone and cartilage, and it's just not as youthful looking. So in the case of Megan Fox, I think that she has recently, within the last year or two, undergone either surgery to implant cheek implants into her cheeks. That was a long way of saying that. Or had copious amounts of filler injected into her cheeks in order to restore that youthful fullness. Because if you look at pictures of Megan from just a few years ago, she didn't have that. But interestingly enough, if you look at pictures from Megan from about 10 years ago, when she was only in her early 20s, it looks to me as though she dabbled in a bit of cheek filler / cheek implants back then as well, because she went from looking like original Megan to suddenly really full-cheeked, full-faced Megan, and she kind of had that pillowy look. You know that look that Madonna has, for example, where it's like, you know she's had tweakments done. You know she's had work done because you can see it. Her face gets that kind of like swollen, pillowy look. In my eyes, Megan had that for a little while back in her 20s, and I think she probably didn't like it because she either had the implants removed or stopped topping up her cheek filler. And the good thing about filler is that it is totally temporary, so if you don't like it, it'll just go away if you stop doing it. The next thing that I think Megan may have had tweaked is her lips. Now, Megan always had naturally full lips. She certainly didn't have thin lips by any stretch of the imagination, but now her lips do tend to, they've got the telltale sign of lip filler, which every person and their dog's cat has in Hollywood and on social media. Heck, I've dabbled with lip filler myself in the past, and I do really like the way it looks when it's understated and it's not overdone. I think it can look really beautiful, but it is, to me anyway, pretty obvious when someone has had lip filler because they have this kind of projected vermilion border, which is like the top of your lip. That's basically where most injectors will inject filler. It's like into that area where you would put your lip liner essentially, and that projects your lips forward with filler and makes your lips look bigger and plumper. And you can see that with Megan too. I can also understand why she might want to do that. And I say this because I'm almost her age, and so I kind of am speaking from firsthand experience here. When you start the aging process, your natural lips, like I never had thin lips myself either, but I do find that they are getting a little bit thinner the older I get. And that's because as you age, you gradually start losing some of the collagen in your skin, and that goes for your lips too. And also, I've read that your lip muscles can actually thin out as you age, which is Kind of strange. But you guys, if you are around me and Megan's age, that doesn't mean that you need to panic and run out to your nearest cosmetic injector. There's other things you can do to restore your youthful lip plumpness. That sounds really weird. Number one is taking a collagen supplement. I do that, and I do find that it helps somewhat. It also helps if you keep your lips moist and hydrated with a good quality lip balm. I make mine myself at home. I actually have my little recipe, what I do on my Instagram. If you avoid smoking, because smoking can obviously thin out the look of your lips, and staying well hydrated internally with good quality water that still retains its minerals, and if all else fails, go ahead and get lip injections if that is going to make you feel more comfortable and happier. And to me, that is the route that Megan has gone down, and I understand why. I don't think she's gone overboard with it. I think it looks quite nice. However, in saying that, one thing I do think she's gone overboard with is Botox. And I am not a Botox hater by any means. I wouldn't get it done myself anymore. I have had it done in the past, 4 years ago now. Before I ever even got pregnant with my first son, I used to get Botox. And looking back, I was so young, literally in my 20s. And I'm like, Stephanie, why the heck were you getting Botox? Like, you didn't even have wrinkles. Now, whilst I personally wouldn't get Botox anymore because it is literally a neurotoxin that you are injecting into your body, which just doesn't really make sense to me. But in saying that, it is a great way to slow down the aging process because it literally paralyzes the muscles that you inject it into. And when those muscles are paralyzed, like these ones at the corner of your eye, for example, you can't move that muscle anymore. And so it can't actually create the look of a wrinkle. And that's how Botox works. And thankfully, it is also temporary. So if you stop getting your Botox topped up, the effect will go away. But to me, and this is just my opinion, feel free to disagree with me, I think that Megan has gone at times in her life, not all the time, at certain points in her life, I feel like she may have gone a little bit too overboard with the Botox in that her whole face kind of seems frozen. The only expression she could pull was this like sultry stare, which looks amazing, don't get me wrong, like she looks beautiful, but because she's an actress, you kind of need to be able to pull off a range of different expressions. Like it's literally part of your job description in order to play a character. You need to have different facial expressions. Now, Megan, to my knowledge, has always denied having Botox. In fact, she went so far as to upload some pictures to her Facebook a few years ago, frowning and raising her eyebrows, which she did to prove that she doesn't actually get Botox, but I think we all know she does. Like, why lie? I just don't get it. Like, there's nothing wrong with having tweakments. I've had them. There's nothing wrong with having plastic surgery. If you want it and it makes you feel good, go for it. It's not a crime. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I just don't understand why so many people go out of their way to actively lie about it. Like, okay, don't talk about it if you don't want to, but don't lie about it when you're a public figure. Also, while we're not on the topic, can we please take a moment to celebrate and fawn over Megan's skin texture? I myself have crazy skin texture. Like, if you imagine smooth skin, mine is the opposite of that. I'm so sick of seeing this airbrushed skin perfection all over social media. And so when I see Megan Fox, who is like widely regarded as one of the most beautiful women on the face of the earth, and I see that she also has skin texture, I'm like, this is so refreshing and so nice to see. In saying that, Megan does actually airbrush, or someone in her team, somebody is doing it, airbrushes Megan's skin in her Instagram pictures, which I think is so unnecessary because Megan with her skin texture is equally as beautiful as the airbrushed Megan on Instagram. So I'm like, why? Why do we do this? I think with Megan, and this is me putting on my psychologist hat, even though I'm not a psychologist, and please tell me in the comments if you agree or disagree with me. I love to read through them and see the differing viewpoints. In my analysis, I think that Megan is struggling to come to terms with the fact that she is 36 and she has begun to age. I think perhaps she's going through a bit of a quarter life crisis. Megan has always been the hot one. So much so that she was literally cast in pretty much every movie she's ever done as the hot one. And when you have so much of your career and identity and the way you literally make money and feed your children and put a roof over your head wrapped up in the way you look, maintaining your beauty and youthfulness is going to be a huge concern to her. When so much of your money-making ability and the reason basically that you have fame and fortune to begin with is because you are considered hot, I think that you would try and maintain those good looks, whatever the cost, literally. I think this is what's happened to Kim Kardashian as well. Like, she has been on record as saying that she would literally eat poo. She would consume feces if it meant that she would stay looking young for longer. And I get it. Like, I don't want to eat poop personally, but I get where they're coming from because it's like their whole career and the reason that they are who they are is because they are considered by general society standards as being beautiful. So it would be so hard to hack if you start losing that beauty. I think for a while there, Megan wasn't bothered about showbiz and maintaining her fame. And I think that's why for a while, when she was with her ex-husband, Brian Austin Green, and having her babies, she was for the most part out of the spotlight, just kind of doing her own thing, not really tweaking her face, just kind of living her life, being a mom. And then she hit her 30s and she was like, oh shit. And so she had a bunch of tweakments, got with Machine Gun Kelly, and hopped on Instagram and started posting Instagram baddies selfies like a 19-year-old. She's trying out a bunch of different looks, which, good for her. It's fun to experiment. I just feel like now she's really trying to be down with the kids. I feel like she's trying to reclaim her own sense of attractiveness and prove to herself even that she's still got it. And Megan, let me tell you, if you're watching this, which you definitely are not, you still got it. 36 isn't old. You are not 96. If you were 96 or 106, I'd be like, okay, yes, you are old. But also good for you because that's an amazing age to reach. But girl, 36 ain't old. And then finally, just to finish this video off, I think Megan had a facelift, which sounds crazy to say because it's like, what woman in her 30s needs to get a facelift? None. Well, to be fair, no woman needs to get a facelift. Let's make that abundantly clear. But Hollywood is a very strange place and facelifts seem to be commonplace. Now, if you compare Megan in her 20s to Megan now at the ripe young age of 36, it's like she's aging backwards. Gone are the prominent nasolabial folds and slight jawline lines, and in its place is a plump, taut, kind of shiny face. My dear friends watching this video, please be aware that this is not the natural aging process. It is not actually natural to age backwards unless you are Benjamin Button, and I don't think Megan is. If, like me, you are aging on the normal trajectory in that you are looking older as you're getting older, please don't feel down about yourself. That is normal. Megan is not normal in this aspect. In my opinion, Megan's very taut, extremely line-free face is due to amazing genetics, first of all. Second of all, a very good surgeon. And third of all, great filler and Botox. Like I said at the start of the video, it takes a lot of money and a lot of skill to maintain this level of aesthetic perfection that doesn't actually exist in nature. Please don't ever compare yourself because you are beautiful. Let's not erase our beautiful, unique features in favor of looking the same as Megan Fox or anyone else. All right, you guys, I'll leave this video here. Please tell me what you think in the comments down below. And if you want me to do a what the fuck happened to video on any other celebrity, let me know who you are intrigued to see a video on this subject. What? In the comments below. What am I saying? I didn't get very much sleep last night, you guys. I love your guts and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.